Hello there, welcome to another episode of Romance of the Three Games. This week we're starting off with Act 4 of Wu's Musou mode, entitled Showdown at Chibi. The Battle of Chibi, one of the biggest battles in world history, we'll be seeing at the end of this act. To begin with, let's see what's happening in this cutscene.
This world is in chaos. Our land of Jiangnan is no exception.
And our most serious threat will come from the north, my young lord.
The great conqueror of the north, Cao Cao. Does he intend to attack Wu as well?
The best course of action is to invite Liu Bei into an alliance. And together we can face Cao Cao as a united front.
It's a gamble. Is Liu Bei really that powerful?
Yes, but I will gladly take that risk. If Zhou Yu believes, it is best.
So Zhou Yu's advice is being heeded, always a good idea. You can see that Sun Quan has taken over as the commander of Wu's forces, which is historically correct, although the game is still going to insist that Sun Xiang is the commander, and that Sun Ce is still alive. In fact, Sun Ce, I believe, is killed, I think it was by a poison arrow or something around this time, and his younger brother Sun Quan takes over command of all of the Sun family forces. It references a conflict with Huang Zhu, who's one of Liu Biao's generals. We were fighting Liu Biao in the last act, so now we're fighting one of Liu Biao's sort of more minor warlords on the edge of his territory, flanking with the Wu territory. And that's what we're going to be seeing in this episode, the Battle of Xia Kou. Other levels available are the Defense of Nanman and the Great Battle of Chibi, which is going to be the final stage of this act, which we'll see in 2 episodes time. So let's go and do this battle with Huang Zhu. First off, as I promised last week, I'm going to change my character from Zhou Yu to Sun Shang Xiang, as we saw from my notification during the cutscene. She's pretty trained up because I've been using her before. I decided to go for an alternate outfit. We've got 4 unlocked, they're kind of similar. There's like a hot pants version and a long shorts and leggings version. I decided to go for the second one, just for a little bit of variety. So now I need to get ready to take on the stage. I still have my massive group of bodyguards, so even though I'm not very experienced as Sun Shang Xiang, they're still going to have a lot of killing power thanks to my guards. The objective is to kill Huang Zhu, who's sitting at the top of the map, and stop Sun Jian from dying, sitting at the bottom. And we'll see a little bit later on that there is actually a risk of Sun Jian dying in this stage. Some of the officers we have include Ling Cao, who's one of the guys who led the vanguard in the Battle of Xia Kou. And we'll see he's going to be doing some very vanguard style behaviour in this stage, pretty much to his own detriment. However, I'll explain when it happens that this behaviour he shows in this stage is very much linked to what he did in real life, which is a quite nice touch for the game. So in my first playthrough of this level, didn't go very well. I got along to this duel with Gan Ning, and as we saw there, my attacks didn't really do anything to him, and he really whomped on me. So I decided to just try and run away so that I'd survive the stage. But I forgot that Gan Ning's special Musou attack is that he runs super fast. He was able to outrun me and take me down. So I died on my first attempt at this stage. Just thought I'd show you me dying for your own personal amusement. So here we go, starting the stage again, only this time I'm going to try and actually do it. So we get this advice from Zhou Yu that we can create a rift in the enemy forces between Gan Ning and Huang Zhu because they don't get along. And this is historically correct because Huang Zhu didn't trust Gan Ning because Gan Ning is a former pirate who had been rejected from Liu Biao's service and had come grovelling along to Huang Zhu, one of Liu Biao's minor warlords, to try and get service with him. So he wasn't really confident about using Gan Ning and his forces, so that's why they didn't like each other. However, I didn't ever work out in this stage how you got them to turn against each other. I feel like I did once know in the distant past, but I didn't manage to find out again on this stage.
You will not escape.
So Huang Zhu decides the battle is going badly and starts pulling back, and Ling Cao rushes out in pursuit. Now this is in reference to the real Battle of Xia Kou, which was a naval battle, where Ling Cao's fleet rushed forwards at the beginning of the battle and completely destroyed Huang Zhu's forces, pursuing them all the way back towards Jiangxia. So at this point in the stage, Huang Zhu, having got back to his flagship, suddenly disappears off the map and leaves Gan Ning as a rear guard. Lin Kao is over there with Gan Ning now, so I kind of wanted to go over and try and save Lin Kao, and try and turn back pages of history, because Lin Kao does actually die. Not really fighting with Gan Ning historically, but Gan Ning supposedly just fired an arrow at random towards Liu Kao's flagship, and it killed him, and this was the thing that saved Huang Zhu's life, because Lin Kao's fleet stopped pursuing him after Lin Kao died. I take out Su Fei. Su Fei was one of Gan Ning's best friends, so hopefully that'll annoy Gan Ning a little bit. Now I'm going to rush over and see what's actually happening on Gan Ning's ship and whether Lin Kao is possible to survive. As we saw from the duel that I just showed you, Gan Ning's pretty powered up in this stage. He's going to offer me a duel again.
Come and get it.
And not wanting to be a coward, I decided to accept the duel, even after losing last time.
Fine. Don't think you'll win.
However, this time I decided to just swallow my pride and use the glitch that I learned a couple of episodes back to survive the duel, where I just aim my bow outside of the arena. Now you can see on the right side of the screen that Huang Zhu's ship is actually moving down the river. We can see it moving as the duel goes on, which I thought was quite interesting. It's sneaking its way towards our main camp. So it was kind of this duel that alerted me to the fact that the ship was sneaking down there. So basically this means I only have a limited amount of time to hang around over here in Gan Ning's ship, because I need to go back to the main camp and try and defeat this sneaky attack they're doing from the sides. We saw just now that I actually lost morale for dueling to a draw. I was expecting that because Gan Ning was so powered up, if I just fought to the draw, I would get the morale bonus, but apparently not. It must mean that Sun Shang Xiang's rank is too high, and that the game decides it on rank rather than stats. That's the only explanation I can think of. As you can see here, Gan Ning is not really reacting at all to my attacks. They do pretty much 0 damage. A lot of the time it doesn't even stagger him, so he's just like completely impervious to being hit. I would be in big trouble if my bodyguards are doing an excellent job of keeping Gan Ning, like they are now, keeping Gan Ning occupied by forcing him to block by constantly attacking him. This has given me opportunities to sort of sneak around his defensive and get in some little hits. However, it's really not doing anything. Oh, I just took a single hit from him there and lost a third of my life. So this really isn't an even fight for me. And at this stage I decided to just abandon it because I needed to get back to defend the main camp. I thought Lin Kao is going to have to just go the way of the historical Lin Kao and be killed by Gan Ning. I got back and I saw Huang Zhu's ship set up next to the camp. It didn't let me go on at first, but then a couple of seconds later he suddenly appeared with a bunch of troops, and I was able to start rampaging my way onto his ship. He wants to crush Sun Jian. Unfortunately he landed at just about the wrong point to crush Sun Jian. Sun Jian's camp was a little bit further down the river. So that means I'm actually pretty much safe from this ambush. The problem is that he deployed a couple of units with maximum morale. So those maximum morale units will eat through my forces unless I do something about them. But luckily I was here to do something about them. Now Zhou Yu just said something about there being gunpowder on the frigates on the north side of the map where Gan Ning is. So that was very interesting. So even though at this point I actually had the opportunity to just kill Huang Zhu where I am now and end the stage, I wanted to see what happened with this gunpowder plot that you seem to be able to engage in. Although not before I got a couple of kills. My bodyguards start complaining that we're too far out, but I think they're just being cowards. Anyways, I took out the last couple of officers in their raiding party and came back up to the north side with Gan Ning's camp. Here I'm taking out a few of the archers that were guarding the entrance to Gan Ning's ship, just for my own personal amusement. There are often archers on towers, which I just ignore, but decided to kill those ones just for fun. So here's the ship. Gan Ning's pretty much here on his own with a couple of guards. All of Lin Kao's forces have been destroyed by this time, so it's just me up here. So I find this gunpowder keg and I knock it over. Nothing really happens at first, not particularly exciting, so I decided to engage with Gan Ning. Suddenly everything sets on fire, hooray! What's the consequence of this? Well, not very much, everything's just on fire now. I mean, Gan Ning didn't die or anything, he didn't lose any health. So I decided that since I'm here I'll have another go at fighting Gan Ning. But as you can see, it's just not doing anything. Even with all of my brave bodyguards completely occupying him, it's not doing much. So I decided that really I just had to get out of there, so I eventually started running off to go and kill Huang Zhu again. However, as I stepped off the ship, oh my god, my bodyguards start to die one by one. What happened? Well, the ship that was on fire suddenly set off from the shore, and for some reason this deleted all of my bodyguards who were still on board. So I had to see these little messages coming up as one by one all of my bodyguards died. Absolutely tragic. I was really annoyed by this, especially because your bodyguards get extra points for surviving. They'll be back in the next stage though. Your bodyguards can't die permanently. It just means I won't have them for the rest of this stage, but I was really annoyed that they died, especially because none of them had died on me so far through the entire game. So to try and take revenge, I rush back to where Huang Zu's ship is. Oh, that's right, Ling Tong appeared, the son of Ling Cao, to try and take revenge for his father. He rushed out of one of the gates at the side of the map to come and help out, which is a little bit of a reference to the Battle of Xiang Xia, which is kind of a follow-up to Xia Kou, where Ling Tong took part. But anyway, the stage was won.
Is this truly the end?
This set of conflicts was how Sun Quan's forces, as it were, started getting some influence over Jing province. However, that influence would be lost when Cao Cao comes along and starts invading all of Jing province, and that will lead directly to the Battle of Chibi, which we're going to be seeing in a couple of episodes' time. So let's check how the morale changed over the course of the level. There's kind of a glitch here because loads of the enemy officers, in fact most of the enemy officers, are not listed on the right hand side. So Gan Ning and Su Fei decided to not appear on that list, and the 3 officers that appeared later on in their stage appeared on the list, but I just thought it was strange that 2 enemy officers for some reason managed not to appear on the list. Kind of weird, especially because Gan Ning was such an important part of this stage. He for some reason wasn't registered as an enemy officer. I didn't know what was going on there. Anyway, I got an upgrade to the Peacock Urn, pretty good, and just a tiny bit of experience. I actually am quite a high rank there, so maybe that's why I didn't get that experience. I saw the morale, sorry, from the duel. Got a weapon level up, pretty handy. As you can see here, my bodyguards leveled up even though they all died, so I guess they're leveling up in the afterlife. Getting to a pretty high level now. They've been given the title of Phoenix, and I have some nice Phoenix guards. Anyway, we'll see what happens with them next time. It's time to move on to Extreme Mode. Let's see what the next stage that Lu Bu is going to take on is going to be. We've got a couple of choices here. Something about a strange pass, wasn't too interested in that, and many troops on guard, sounded rubbish. The bottom one had cheap meat buns, but I didn't really want to buy any. So I decided to go for the highest exchange rate level, which is always a good idea.
Welcome. What can I get you?
Buying up the dim sum is always a good idea because it's very, very rare that you'll actually get it in stages. Very occasionally officers will drop dim sum, but otherwise you can't buy it except in these shops. And you can see on the left hand side of the screen that my life is almost at the maximum possible life bar size, which means once I get to that I can stop buying the dim sum and save the money. I also hired Liu Bei to come along and help me. Liu Bei was being pretty annoying to me a few stages back, but I decided to let him redeem himself by coming onto the field with me here today and do some damage. I'm swapping out the elixir for this level 11 speed scroll so that I'll be able to run faster, for the primary reason that running faster means I can open more pots during the stage, and that means more chance of getting health back, which of course is the only thing I live for in extreme mode. We've got a whole load of enemy officers on the field today, 3 of which are immediately in front of me when I start. So this is good because that means there's lots of opportunities to get stat improving items by killing all these officers, so it's a good thing I have to take on all these guys. But a little bit harsh that from the very first moments of the stage we have 2 enemy officers rushing at me. In fact, he hits me right at the beginning, this guy, Yang Kou, pretty annoying. Decided to take my revenge in the way that Lu Bu does best, which is indiscriminately and extremely cheaply with his lightning shockwave attacks. Liu Bei kind of makes himself useful as well, ducking in and out of the lightning and taking out a couple of the enemy troops. Absolute destruction for this first part of the stage. There goes the first one. I couldn't pick up the defense increasing item that he dropped straight away because there's so many troops all over the place. Somewhere in that combo I managed to kill Pang Day as well. Pang Day was selected to be one of the playable officers in Dynasty Warriors 5. But back here in Dynasty Warriors 4, he is just a generic officer, nothing exciting about him at all. So then I moved on to the 3rd enemy officer. We can see there at the bottom just a moment ago it said the Dragon Seal has given me 100 points. That was something I bought in the shop a dragon seal, which is some sort of mysterious item that rewards you with money for killing people. I don't know who made this item or where it came from, but it's probably not good for the crime rate in China. Anyway, picking it up seems to have been a good idea. Anyway, I went rushing all over the stage looking for pots. This is a representative clip of me looking for pots, looking for health. Sorry, I didn't actually find any health, which is unfortunate. But after searching for ages, I just gave up and started coming to take on some more officers here in the central area of the map. UGs can go down pretty damn easy because he's pretty much exposed in this little swamp area, and I can just dance around him, smashing him out with my lightning attack. Plus Liu Bei is really being pretty useful. He keeps distracting enemy officers, which is pretty handy for me. And an incredibly cheeky backhand kill from Liu Bei there. Didn't even look at that guy, just smacked him in the face from behind. So now I need to move on and take on the next enemy officer. I think it's King Mulu. Oh yes, well first I had to go look for health on this side of the map, but then I went on to take out King Mulu, who's the next enemy officer. He had a ton of archers guarding him, which is never good. Oh, I took a hit there from that guy, knocked off my horse. Luckily it doesn't do too much damage. Start being swarmed by enemies just a little bit. I was kind of worried about these archers. There's a couple of butcher archers in the background there who are just waiting to get a hit on me. I rush over here to try and get them and fail. King Mulu rushes through, stuns me, and then gets a combo on me, so that's really annoying. A little bit more health. So far I've made a substantial loss of health in this stage. You also noticed a moment ago it said that Zhang Ba is advancing towards Lu Bu. That's the enemy commander. I think the enemy commander got bored waiting for me to go and find him. Now he's rushing up the map towards me. However, he's going to find it takes him a long time to reach me. And that was my favourite kill of the whole stage. Smashed that guy with my Musu and took out the archer in the background. Very good. So I noticed a couple of pots back here. I'm going to have to go and check out these pots as always. Oh my god, there's the health. Sweet. For yet another stage, I've managed to find some health. This is awesome. It's not going to stop me searching the rest of the map for health, but at least I've got something now.
Capture Xia Kou, and I shall pay you a hefty reward.
So Dong Zhuo asked me to capture Xia Kou, and I know this is kind of an evil quest, but I just decided to do it anyway because I'm Lu Bu, I am Dong Zhuo's adopted son, so I thought, I know, I'm going to follow his orders, go for the evil route. So when you attack Xia Kou, who's just standing around, she becomes hostile to you. She has a bunch of troops guarding her, however these troops aren't too much to worry about. What we really have to do is hit Xia Kou herself in order to capture her. I didn't really know how to capture her, so I decided to just hit her a load of times. Luckily it turned out that hitting her a load of times was the way to capture her. She just surrenders to you, and now you have to escort her to Dong Zhuo. This basically means going and standing next to Dong Zhuo for long enough for her to show up. And since I rode there on a horse, I had to stand there for ages before they eventually came behind me on foot.
Proved quite useful.
So Dong Zhuo gives me 1,000 points and I ride off in search of more pots. Starting to really run out of time here on the stage, and I was getting a little bit conscious, so I had to cut my journey for pots short a couple of minutes later. Now I'm going to start taking on Zhang Ba's force as the enemy commander. He came at me, well, he was chasing me from behind, and as a result his archers form up in a kind of tiered system where each set of archers is about one archer ranges away from the next set of archers. It means every time I rush forward to take out a group of archers, I have to rush forward and take out the next group of archers, as you can see here, and I took a hit there, even more cheeky. But once I'd stopped focusing on the archers, I decided to stop being so mean to the officers and pay some attention to them. Luckily they don't seem to be putting up very much of a fight. I think the lightning there stole my kill yet again, so that's more weapon experience lost out on due to the lightning. That is a recurring downside of this lightning attack. It keeps stealing my kills, but I don't grudge it because it's so useful, that lightning. It's probably saved my life tons of times by stunning enemy guards and enemy troops whilst I'm trying to do something, so I can't blame it. Anyway, that's another victory for Lu Bu. He has gone another mission, and I think I made a profit in health there, because even though I took quite a few hits through the course of the stage, I think the meat bun I found will have just about made me a profit. So this was an excellent stage for Lu Bu. A couple of ranks up, but still no item slots extra unlocked, which is quite annoying. Must be the next rank. My weapon ranked up straight away. Remember last time I almost ranked it up and only needed a tiny bit of experience. And I got an absolute ton of money, probably because of that Dong Zhuo mission being multiplied through the exchange rate. Anyway, now it's time for the special battle that we saw last time in Empires mode.
All of the great leaders have gathered in the capital to put an end to the tyrant Dong Zhuo.
However, I feel I can't trust any of them.
Well, you're probably right there, Wenzhou. Yanmei just kind of looks around, nothing particularly interesting to say. So yes, I'm doing the special anti-Dong Zhuo stage. This is a special stage again where you can only take one officer, so I decided to take Yanmei, of course, being my true hero. It looked like she is never going to get her next level up because it needs 15 proposals accepted. And I very rarely accept her proposals in the political stage, which means she's going to be level 4 for the rest of the game, basically. Since this was a big battle, I decided to whip out some items, taking the Tortoise Amulet to increase my defense fairly substantially. So all I have to do is smash through the tons of enemy bases and officers to take Dong Zhuo. It's not too different to the Musu version of this battle, although it's much easier actually because there's no gates to deal with. And Lu Bu is a little bit less annoying, although we will see he's going to be quite annoying for me, Lu Bu. He's not on the map yet. He doesn't appear until you penetrate a certain depth into the enemy lines. However, when he does appear, he's going to cause a couple of issues for me. But we'll see those shortly.
Your choice to oppose me.
So apparently I'm going to regret this choice to oppose him, but I thought differently. Anyway, all I have to do at the beginning is rush forward and start taking out the enemy officers who are hanging around. As I said, there's no actual gate aspect to the Hulao gate stage of this, so you don't have to get a ram or anything, or do anything particularly special to get through the gate. They're just sitting there with the, well, the gate's wide open, so you just walk into their camp. Pretty useful. You saw that I picked up a Musu free 10 seconds, which allows me to use my Musu for 10 seconds with no penalty. And they pretty much destroyed Zhu Rong using it. Now all I have to really do is push on and start capturing enemy bases. It's a very linear stage, which means no particular strategies are needed. Accidentally shot one of my own guys in the back with an arrow there, but it doesn't do anything. Oh look, it's the great warrior Hua Zhong has run out. He asked me to say my prayers, but unfortunately, unlike in Musu mode, Hua Zhong is not a particularly competent officer, which means he's going to go down pretty easy. Oh no, he isn't. I almost forgot. Yes, I hit Hua Zhong away, and then he starts falling back into the gate. I was considering following him, but I thought, you know what, I'm just going to let him go. I can't be bothered. I was having too much fun taking out all these troops outside. However, a little bit later I went inside the gate and I find him wandering around and decided to take him out. But now that I'm inside the gate, I'm going to start getting bogged down, because just inside Hulao Gate seems to be the place where every enemy officer wants to be. I almost captured the base on the inside just now, however, just before I could capture it, enemy reinforcements showed up. It's Zhang Liao's unit rushing forward to reinforce the base. Now I'm going to have to deal with this unit before I can capture it. Zhang Liao calls me fodder. Pretty mean, I thought. There's no way to speak to a lady, Zhang Liao. I bet he doesn't get very much. Unfortunately for Zhang Liao, I found this attack doubling power up, which means all I have to really do is get a couple of hits on him and he'll go straight down. Kill a couple of my own troops in the process, as you saw there, with the annoying knock-on effect. And now I'm going to take him down with my Musu. No problems at all. So there we go, I'm another step closer to taking this base. Hopefully now, if I kill enough of Zhang Liao's troops, I'll be able to actually capture it.
They are strong, but do not.
However, it just didn't go that way because Diao Chan's unit rushed up to replace Zhang Liao's units. Now I'm fighting with Diao Chan. It's a power battle of what will happen. Oh, I won. And Mi Fang openly admits that he's a fool after Cao Cao's statement. Maybe he is a fool. Something tells me that Mi Fang has some sort of interesting story in the Three Kingdoms era, but I can't quite remember what it is. He was one of Liu Bei's officers who was with him from the early stages. I don't think he was a particularly competent officer. Anyway, I was wandering around and I found Lu Bu sneakily trying to kill one of my lieutenant generals sitting in the corner of this little supply dump. I don't know what Lu Bu was doing out here, but I decided to take him on and try and save the lieutenant general. Lu Bu's pretty powerful, Luckily, I'm managing to get tons of attacks in on him without him getting much of a chance to hit back. Especially with this Lieutenant General and a couple of bodyguards helping me out. It says here Lu Bu can use his skill without limits. It's talking about his officer skill, because in Empire's mode each officer has an officer skill which the AI randomly uses. I don't know, maybe it's based on some sort of situational awareness, but it seems to be used at random as far as I can tell. Basically all the skills are the same, they just increase their morale to maximum, but they have different names. Sometimes there are special effects, like the taunt skill, which we've seen a couple of times, increases your morale to max and forces an enemy officer to come towards you so that they will die due to your maximum morale, that sort of thing. So finally I managed to move on. Li Ru and Hua Zhang were standing around at the gates to Luo Yang. They're probably no more powerful as a duo than they are on their own, so they're going to go down pretty easy, especially Li Ru. Li Ru was one of Dong Zhuo's advisors. I think he was the guy that tried to get Dong Zhuo to become emperor. Well, successfully got Dong Zhuo to declare himself emperor, probably because he was hoping for tons of personal gain by having his liege lord become the emperor, and I believe he did gain a lot. And whoa, did you see that? I was like 50 feet in the air and an arrow came out of nowhere and just hit me and sent me flying backwards. So these archers are doing some pretty good trick shots on me right here. So after taking care of Li Ru, oh god, I'm still being hit, decided to get a little bit of revenge on those archers. Pesky blighters. Right, so we moved inside Luo Yang. I found Hua Zhang again after he retreated from me a second time. So for the second time in a row, I caught up with him and commenced the whomping. And there he goes. Li Ru comes back for more at that very moment. So I guess Hua Zhang will pass him as he limps back to camp. Anyway, I started taking one of these internal bases, and Lu Bu shows up again. I don't know where he was, he just came out around the corner. He was just doing his business round there. And I decided I'm in a little bit of trouble here because I'm surrounded by these enemy officers. I've got Lieutenant General Guo Si and Lu Bu whomping on me from all sides, plus I'm surrounded by archers and enemy troops. I'm in a little bit of trouble. Plus, as we see here, Dong Zhuo's army gets reinforcement troops. Not that it matters what the troop counts on both sides are, because I'm basically just killing everyone. And, still at the moment both sides have about the equal amount of troops, so it's okay. Anyway, I decided to rush away from that base because it was getting a little bit dodgy fighting all three enemy officers with so many enemy troops around. I thought if I got away from the base, maybe I could isolate them. However, with these enemy officers working together, I'm having a really hard time. I'm either having to constantly block, or I'm not having enough time to get an attack in, because in the amount of time it takes me to swing my sword, one of the enemies has hit me. And I'm really beginning to lose health. So here I use a power attack to split them up. The power attack kills the Lieutenant Generals, and now I only have two difficult opponents to deal with. I almost killed Guo Si, he just about survived, however Lu Bu starts absolutely destroying me. Guo Si runs, I use my true move, so hopefully this will do some damage, but I was very disappointed in that the vast majority of the hits didn't do anything, because it just knocks him to the floor. And then Lu Bu hits me, I can't run away fast enough, and oh god, he just comboed me to death. That's not very nice. Luckily in extreme mode, not extreme mode, Empire's mode, it doesn't matter if you die. You're actually allowed to lose stages, so the stage just goes on, still get tons of experience as a result. And the army didn't get any experience, but that doesn't matter because the army is basically all people I don't care about. So the failed campaign caused Dong Zhuo's reign of terror to continue. Well, that doesn't really matter, I'll just kill him later. Oh well, poor Yanmei. So the coalition has failed, but my empire still controls half the country. We'll be fine. So actually a couple of failures from me in this week's episode. I'm sorry about that. I don't know, I can't be perfect all the time. Although we can still get our hopes up, so maybe you'll see some perfection next time on Romance of the Three Games.